the Executive Director of Huayan Science and Technology Association. We are the leading professional organizations here in Silicon Valley, about 8,000 members. You may wonder, there's so many organizations, what exactly, why we are different from the others. And I have to say that entrepreneurship and corporate leadership are in our DNA. And as you can see later, we have a strong panel. A lot of them are very successful entrepreneurs.
Victor, you lead the way and do a little bit of introduction yourself.
Thank you. Today I think I'm in a good position, a little bit far from Jack, but I got the first spot. Glad to meet you all here. My name is Victor. I'm the president of Hanhai Z Park. And Z Park, you may have known that it's called Zhongguancun. That is in Beijing, China. It's the largest high-tech park in China, maybe one of the largest in the world. And Hanhai is one of the largest private conglomerate focusing on incubator industry in the past 10 years. And they have 5 national level incubator buildings in Beijing with 1,000 startups being incubated. And we acquired a facility close to San Jose Airport. That's 80,000 square feet in February this year, and we had a grand opening on June the 20th this year. And our mission is to help many companies like yours to go to China through our network in the Z Park and in government agencies, and also to help Chinese companies to explore markets in the U.S. And we plan to build 2 more high-tech parks in the coming 2 years, which will be focusing on biotech and clean tech industries. But the current one is focusing on IT, including mobile internet. Thank you.
Over 3,000 traditional enterprises businesses are going to be reshaped or going to be replaced. And the total value of those 3,000 companies adds to about $30 trillion. And this is all going to happen in the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years. And so with that, certainly I think looking at mobile, looking at China is really a huge place. So maybe just ask each one of you to share one story, something that you think either in the U.S. that's unique for mobile or in China that's unique.
I think Jack mentioned this huge potential in the China mobile market, but I see there's some challenges as well. Let's see the apps market. In China's apps market are pretty fragmented, not like the US. For the developer who want to launch their app, they may have to go through 50+ channels. So that's quite a headache. So what we have been doing is, the Z Park has 23,000 companies, and there's many big companies from Baidu, from Lenovo to the small startups, and we've been helping them to. We set up consolidated partnership with those channels. Then we are able to help our developers to go through this partnership so they can launch their apps immediately. So I have 2 examples. Actually, let's just give one example because of time constraints. There's a company called Horizon 3D. That is one of our incubated company, and they develop social media games on the QZone platform. You may have known that. It's called QQ Xuanwu. They experienced a 500% revenue growth in the past 2 months, and their QZone players doubled every 2 months, and their products now have more than 2 million users globally. Because we help them to launch the product immediately, and we give them the fundings, everything else, so they can grow faster. Thank you.
So you guys, Z Park, have seen a lot of companies successfully made from nothing, right, like Baidu, to multi-billion-dollar company. All the companies in China, tech companies. Did you actually see that trend so that everyone wants to spread peanut butter pretty wide, or they actually has some specialty? What's the successful strategy in China?
Actually, you may have remember that there's a few weeks ago, Robin came here to the CEO summit. Then we talked together, and actually he said that now it's different than when he started venturing in Zhongguancun, 10 years ago. Now the situation has changed. Now we're going mobile apps, and I see you are absolutely right that among the 23,000 companies, the majority of those companies, they started from scratch, then they become very successful. But still, in China, the market in the whole, like Xiaochen mentioned, that culturally and even for the people in Tijuana, they still feel difficulties. For the people from the U.S. or Tijuana, it will be even more difficult, and sometimes very time-consuming. So I would suggest that maybe in this case, a cross-border incubator might be of your choice that you can consult with or start with. So here we have 2 incubators here, and there's more demands, more startups here that need our help. And this is very difficult. Not I'm trying to say or Xiaochen, I didn't want to let you know the difference, but it's very hard to say in whole here. What we can do is to have you come over. We will have you meet with the success for entrepreneurs both from the China and from the US, and to get you step by step. Thank you.
I want to just maybe put a sort of summary of our discussion here. Looks like the opportunities is abundant. There are some differences between the 2 countries, but I think the last question actually brought up a very good point for Silicon Valley companies to do well in China, and that is the brand. The global brand means a lot in China, right? It can almost overcome anything, as long as people can afford it. I think 5-10 years ago, a lot of the technology products were too expensive if you look at the per capita GDP in China. But now, we're getting closer. The 2 countries are getting a lot closer, especially the top tier of the population, which is about 100-200 million people with a very similar income of US. So all of a sudden, they're consuming the top brands globally, right? Cars were not doing well, global cars, BMW, GM were not doing well 5-10 years ago in China, but now they're doing extremely well in the last 3 years. And the same thing with all the luxury brands, and iPhone is a great example right here, right? I think Apple wouldn't have a single play 5 years ago in China, but now they're the most important, sort of a market for the company, right? 2 years ago, it was 1% of the total revenue for Apple is from China. Now it's 20-some%. And I think that's very true for all the technology product going forward, because fundamentally, technology product is really improving productivity. China labor is going up dramatically, so they have to do what we do as for technology to improve productivity. So all the global brands will do well in China. With that, thank you, everyone.
Okay, we have confidence because we are serving 20